So one of the most painful experiences that I would always have in high school, in early university, was the feeling of FOMO. So the feeling of FOMO was this painful feeling that normally I would experience when it came to partying. So in high school, I would spend Friday, Saturday nights indoors on my home, at home, probably playing video games, even probably studying, doing something on my own, right? But I would go into Instagram and I would see everybody in my class going out and partying and having fun. Or for example, I would in university, I would walk like through the city and I would see all the kids running around me, screaming, having fun, laughing with each other. Every time I would go past the group, laughing with each other, that kind of thing. Or I would see people partying on Instagram, that kind of thing. I would feel massive FOMO. I would feel like, shit, really, I wish I was there. I wish I was out there having fun, but I've got no one to go with. I'm heading home right now on my own on a Friday night. I'm going home on my own to go lie in my bed and do my own thing. This is lame, bro. I hate my life. But then I realized something. There was this one question that when I started asking myself, it started destroying my FOMO. And I asked myself, what is my ideal lifestyle? What is my dream week, basically? And when I asked myself that, I realized that partying, going to parties, going to those hype social events, sure, those are fun, those are amazing, those are great to go to. But they weren't even something that I wanted to do that often. These days, I kind of have to discipline myself to go to a party. Because when I really sit down and I think, what is my ideal dream life? To be honest, these days, it's kind of like just sitting in the grass. Creativity, I love accessing a state of creativity, coming up with ideas, working on a project I'm really, really interested in, like my YouTube channel, reading, to be honest, writing, exercising, and socializing with close friends. To be honest, that is literally like my dream life. And partying is in there, sure. Partying is sprinkled in there every now and then. Doing these fun, exciting activities, they're in there, sure. But basically, the only reason you're feeling FOMO is because you're looking out there and you're seeing the partying going on. If you were in the middle of your day, enjoying your ideal day, let's say, for example, I was in the grass. The best part of my day today was sitting in the grass and I was watching this bird who had like a nice song or whatever. I was just watching him walk around. That's literally the highlight of my day. My day is boring as fuck. I love it though. I love my daily routine. But literally, I was just watching this bird just walk around. And if in that moment I was like, shit, I would really rather be in a nightclub right now, guys. I wish I was partying right now. That shit doesn't happen. The only time I feel that kind of FOMO to go to a party or something like that is when I walk past a group of people having fun. When I go into Instagram and I see a bunch of my school friends, they're in Greece or something, they're on a trip. So the reality is FOMO is not coming from within. It's not coming as something you want to do. It's coming simply because you're being exposed to these different experiences in front of your face. And another thought experiment of why it's literally impossible, why FOMO is not even real, right? You're feeling FOMO because you're seeing, John on Instagram going to a party. Or you're feeling FOMO because you're walking through the city, seeing a couple people in, South Bank, New Jersey, going to a party or some shit, right? These are but the thing is, again, you're feeling FOMO for these two very specific situations. But there are a trillion, billion, quadrillion, fintillion, smillion, three different situations in human existence that you can feel FOMO for. Okay, you're feeling FOMO because Joe from chemistry is going to a party. Cool. What about Schmiegel Fleem from the year 5025 going to his Mars, space party? Why are you not feeling FOMO for that guy? Because he doesn't exist yet. Why don't you feel FOMO for John Bobden III in the 1600s going to a medieval battle? Because, again, you're not focused on him. So there are a trillion, billion... the point I'm trying to make here is there are so many different situations that you can feel FOMO and focus on. But you're just focused on, one specific situation. So the FOMO is not even real. It's simply because you're focused on it that you feel the FOMO. Instead, focus inwards. Focus on your ideal life. Feel the FOMO towards that. It's like, okay, yeah, bro, I kind of want to do some creating right now or whatever. Feel within your FOMO, if that makes sense. And, maybe you're thinking oh, but, I see that experience and I want to do it. It looks hype. I want to go to those parties or whatever. Sure, you want to go to those parties. I completely understand. That's amazing. But do you really want to go to the party that night? I mean, if you weren't out walking in the city, if you weren't on Instagram, would you still want to go to that party? Because the reality is, it's not like you're never going to that party for the rest of your life. You can go tomorrow. You can go the day after. You can go the day after. You can go the day after. Now, if you have no friends to go to the party with, if you have no party to go with, that's a different matter. But the thing is, when you know what you actually want, when you know what your ideal lifestyle, you know what your ideal day is, then you can walk towards making that a reality. Sure, all right, you want to go to a party once a week. That's fine. That's fair enough. Start building towards being able to do that. Start going out, going to parties. If your peak in life, okay, if your peak in life is that you want to be able to go to parties every Friday night, bro, that's not difficult. Even if you're the most socially awkward, shy person in the world, you've got no friends, no one ever invites you, bro, if you want to get to the point where you're just going to parties, it's not that difficult. Just push yourself out there a little bit. Even if you're super shy and awkward. I started going to university. I was a very, very shy, awkward kid. I barely spoke. I started throwing myself out there into parties. Sure, a lot of people were ignoring me. That's one of the brutal realities. If you're very shy and awkward, you can't really connect with a lot of people. It's something you have to learn, right? But even going out there and forcing myself out there were some people who would become friends with me and they would invite me to stuff, right? And then beyond that, I was improving my skills. I was building my confidence, and I would get invited to more stuff. So the reality is, it's going to parties, going on a girls' trip to Europe. It's not that big of an achievement. If that's your dream life, if that's the goal in your life, if that's what you're feeling so bad about on a Friday night to go to, because you want to go to these parties, you want to go to these fun social events, it's not that big of an amazing achievement as you might think. Here's one of the biggest scams, I think, in the modern day. I think the idea of getting famous or getting super popular and famous is a massive, massive scam. Not scam, but one of the biggest illusions of our modern day. Because the thing is, we look at results. We look at actors, we look at writers, we look at these famous singers, people, and we want their results. We want all their money. We want all their fame. We want their house. We want all these things. But what we don't realize is the massive grind they had to get there to achieve those things. We all want to be an actor because we all want the fame, we all want the money, we all want that. But do we want to have had to struggle for a decade of acting, of going to tons of auditions, of pushing ourselves to become that actor? We want the results of that actor, but do we want his daily life? Do we want his life of having to be in the studio for 12 hours, of having to film these movies he doesn't even like? Do we want that ideal life? So the secret is not to start with the output. It's not to start with, I want that, I want that, I want that. The secret is to start from, what is your ideal life? So this is an exercise I do very often. I sit down and I ask myself, okay, what is my ideal lifestyle that I'm working towards? And my goal, this metric, I heard this metric from Tim Ferriss. He says that your life, your life should get to the point where your average Tuesday is pretty good. It's a pretty good lifestyle. And I think that's a good metric to aim for. So for example, let's say you wanted to be a writer. You always had dreams of being a writer. It's I would love to be a writer, man. I would love to write all day and think about writing, be creative, that kind of thing. That would be literally my dream life. I would love to be a writer. Oh man, but it sucks because it's so hard to be a writer these days. Okay, you want to be a writer. Okay, you look at a writer's day. They're writing for 4 hours a day. They're sitting in the grass for 4 hours a day. Okay, you can literally do that tomorrow. Okay, you can be a writer. Go tomorrow. Sit down and write for 4 hours. Sit in the grass for 4 hours. You're a writer. Congratulations, you've achieved your dream. Oh, but there's no point. What's the point of doing that? Because in the modern day, we can't even become a writer. It's too hard. Only lucky people become writers. So the reality is, you never wanted to be a writer. You just wanted the output. You just wanted the money, the fame, the success that the writer had. You liked the idea of being a writer. You didn't like the lifestyle that was required to get there. Same thing with these people going to parties. Sure, they've got this party that they're going to, but what are they doing throughout the rest of the day? One of the dark things is, I realized observing people going into their late 20s, their early 30s, they start to live these lives where they go to these jobs that they hate. and they need to escape from their painful existence by going to parties on Friday and Saturday, having some drinks at the pub. So you're seeing this highlight of their day. You're seeing the highlight that they share on social media, but you're not seeing the dark life that's behind them, which is they're going to a job they hate. They've got to go to this party to numb themselves, and they're sharing the highlights of their day. So you want this one event that they have, but you're not seeing that their life actually sucks. So stop focusing on, you're walking through the city and you're like, I want to be like that, I want to be like that, I want to be like that. Instead, start from your ideal life. Okay, what is like a dream 10 out of 10 week? What is my ideal week? And when you ask yourself that question, you realize honestly that you can live like at least 50% of your ideal week literally today. Like your ideal week, honestly, if you're anything like me, it's creating shit you're passionate about, exercising, or whatever, probably, learning things you're curious about, sure, doing some socializing, that kind of thing. You can literally have that this week. Sure, maybe you've got a job you got to go to that you hate. Sure, maybe you're studying subjects you hate. But the rest of the time, you can still do that shit. So that's it. Your dream life is probably closer than you think it is. And FOMO is not real because you're only focusing on one aspect. I don't know if this video even made any sense. I just kind of like went on a massive rant there, but yeah, that's it, I guess. See you later.